Alfred Sant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question has an overlap with Mr. Valli's, actually. The focus within the Eurozone in past years has been on achieving fiscal balance within national economies. Yet, meanwhile, economic divergences between national economies and within national economies have been growing. A dual system has developed where a small cluster of economies, led by the strongest economy in the system, the German one, have high productivity and high potential for sustained growth. And the wider cluster, consisting of the other economies, have remained with lower productivity and growth potential. Under Eurozone condition, the small cluster has enjoyed undervaluation in terms of trade with the rest of the zone. This gave it the economic base from which to achieve further economies of scale when selling outside the zone. Now we are in a period where the euro itself has reached the lowest ever parity rates with main world currencies. Will this not mean that the small cluster of economies within the eurozone led by Germany, which have been relatively high performers, will now enjoy the benefits of painless undervaluation in their terms of trade, both inside the eurozone and outside it? Will this not increase the divergences, economic and other, between the two clusters of economies in the zone? Should this possibility be of any interest or concern to us? Is it to you at all? Should it be addressed? If yes, what effective tools do you have to enable such an address?
Okay, that was quite a complex question, but as I understood, had two parts. First, an divergence of economic performance within a euro area. Second, the effects of recent euro depreciation now. Yeah. So, on the first one. Of course, this question was asked already, and it's obvious. If country is joining the currency union, it will have to live with restrictions of currency union, meaning no possibility to float its exchange rate. That's I think it's really obvious, and it means that member states within Eurozone need to be able to adjust their economies by other means, and there we are really coming back to the structural reforms to boost competitiveness of the member states. And this is also exactly one of the policy priorities we are having right now in our annual growth survey. So certainly currency union has its restrictions, and every member state knows it when joining. Then on more recent exchange rate developments and who is gaining, who is not. First of all, it's worth noting that the reason why ECB is making quantitative easing now is because inflation is substantially below ECB's inflation target, which is close to but below 2%. And that's why ECB is having accommodative monetary policy to move towards its inflation target. Of course, it has a side effect of exchange rate depreciation. But I would say there are different aspects. Of course, exporters to the third countries are gaining from this exchange rate depreciation. But while ECB is achieving its inflation targets, it's certainly also helping to alleviate the debt burdens, because there are two ways you can deal with the debt burden. You can try to reduce your debt burden by paying it back, or you can try to grow out of your debt burden by growing your economy. And with inflation approaching ECB's targets, certainly we're having faster nominal growth rates, and we're actually growing out of the, our debt burden. So this purpose will certainly will be much more helpful to how you were quoting second cluster of the country. So it's, if you want, helpful to both first and second cluster of countries. Of course, one concern always with this is that it doesn't end up with excessive inflation, because this is one of the concerns always with currency depreciations, that they may end up with a large inflation and fall in purchasing power.
Thank you.